Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. So, we're having a lightweight, serious discussion, right? About life, the deen, masjids, right? And who's to blame? It's really the main, you know what I'm saying, the main topic. Like, who's to blame? Have we been failed? You know, is the Muslim community failing us? Right? And with me saying that, for people who live in a area and they got some decent masjids to go to and some really decent classes, you know, appreciate it. Appreciate it. You know, we was in a particular city and, you know, we was sitting and, you know, we was in the masjid, man, me and D's, right? And we was listening to the lecture or whatever. And the people who from the city, like they didn't realize what they had. You know, because they got a real strong student sitting in front of them, and you know may have grew up with them, and you know he left and went to school and came back, so they take it for granted, like they don't really realize what they have in him, Daki. You know, they take it for granted. You know what I'm saying? And like the people we was visiting, and this isn't a speculation, because like I said, the people we was visiting, and I was listening to them, you know, as we set up and chopped it up, and I was explaining to them, man, like, y'all don't know what y'all have. See, sometimes, man, what you have in this day and time, these brothers, when they listening to him speak, oh man, the brother be keeping it real, man. The brother on point, the brother educated. You know, he one of the top students, right? Anytime something going on, you know, I got easy access to him. I can call him. I can even go over his house. But when he speak on a subject matter that might pertain to you, you see what I'm saying? But it's necessary for him to speak about it because he's trying to clean up the Muslims that had his actions. Now they mad at him. Now he not keeping it real. Now he not really doing the education. You know what I'm saying? Because he done told the truth. But like I say, he's not speaking to them directly. But he may be speaking about situations to a group of people where people actually benefiting from it. But these individuals get mad because they can relate to it. But it's an emotional attachment because they know him. You know what I'm saying? So they taking it more personal, and you know they just really don't realize what they have in him, man. Him and the other ones that surround him. So if y'all in a good city, man, because I'm telling y'all, man, some of y'all can't imagine. You know, just like when people who, wallahi, people who I talk to from that be out of town, and you know they might want to come visit here. And some people, I'm going to be honest with you, some people that be wanting to come down here, I don't let them come. I stop them. Like, nah, because this environment is not for them. Even if it's being around me. So then when I start talking to him, because you know what I'm saying about certain things, just the fact that there's a masjid, there's two masjids, and there's absolutely no class, there's absolutely no nothing. They can't fathom it. Like, it makes absolutely no sense to them. You know what I'm saying? It makes absolutely no sense to them. So what we discussing is like, now that I got that out the way, man, like appreciate it, man. Thank Allah for it, because even if some of the classes is a reminder, if a book getting read to you, even if it's that, you know what I'm saying? Thank Allah for it, man, because a lot of people don't have it. Like a lot of cities, man, I do mean a lot, the majority, especially for like, because we had these gripes. We need us. We need our own. Foreigners this. So then when you in cities, man, where you have African American students that's strong, like for real, PhDs, masters, you know what I'm saying? And then also in a masjid that they maintain and function and that they run, you should appreciate that. Because some people don't have it, bro. They don't. And then, because some of them just stuck with, I'm just keeping it 100, man. I'm speaking a serious truth. Some people, and some people just have like a foreigner who just was, he may be a doctor, he may be an engineer, he may have the Quran memorized. So they just, some of the things that you should be getting is just not there. They can't go to they can't go to the masjid and get married. The masjid won't marry nobody. It's just a lot of luxuries, man, that people have. They don't have it. No halal stores, nowhere to go buy those and Kimars and Kufis. No environment where the brothers actually look like Muslims and the sisters actually look like Muslims. You know what I'm saying? Like properly. Some people don't have that, man. So if you have it, wallahi, man, that is a blessing, man. Even if it's some fitna in it. Even if it's a fitna in it, because even if you just look a certain way in appearance, you could be comfortable in the appearance because there's enough people that look like you. When you see the majority of the Muslims, man, and they on something different, it's easier for you to be involved in that. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being what you should be, man, and because there's no examples. So like as we talk, man, we finna bring it out. So like who failed us, and I'm finna point out something right here. So when it comes to fiqh, right? Like not madhab fiqh, fiqh of the deen. Usul of fiqh, the foundations of fiqh, right? What you could pull from Quran and Sunnah, right? There's really four main categories that you supposed to be learning. You supposed to be taught. So the first one is ibadah. All of the acts of ibadah, right? And this is just a reality. Some Muslims feel like ibadah is basically make a salat, fasting for Ramadan. This is ibadah. And the prerequisites, like a wudu, I don't even want to say ghusl because some people neglect ghusl. Some people neglect paying zakat. But we don't really know the what's all considered ibadah, and then what categories do they fall under, right? So, like some people could sit down and say, ibadah, what you considered ibadah, where did you learn it? Was it in your masjid? Were you able to go to your masjid and learn ibadah 101? 101 from an individual that was qualified to teach it to you? This is a serious question. Sometimes some people might be like, yeah, but then if you start talking to them about ibadah, they'd be like, oh, I didn't even know that was ibadah. Some people came in a masjid or came around some brothers and they wanted to make salat, and they said, look, just do what we do. Not for some people who are in good areas. Some people, me having this conversation may sound strange to some people. Like what? Like, don't everybody? Especially if you're not in America. You understand? So sometimes them making salat started off was just, here, watch us. Then a couple of Muslims may have taught them make salat. But then if you sit down with them and comb through their salat with authentic hadiths, you'll find some errors. You'll find some errors. The person who they consider to be the imam of the masjid or the khatib, but they consider him to be the imam, he didn't teach them. He didn't have no class to teach them ibadah 101. What nullifies it, what invalidates it. So this leaves people at the discretion of the community who also didn't learn in their masjid. They may have a book. They may have read how the Prophet prayed. They may have grew up Hanafi, so they just know Hanafi madhab. It's just scattered. But then your second thing is this. Your second main category is business and transactions. Transactions, there's like leases, whether you leasing a home, apartment, a car, storage space, a storage shed, contracts. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's like a contract for furniture, like people who do rent to owns. Even if it's your car, paperwork that you sign until you know what I'm saying, when you get a loan and then they finance you or whatever. They finance your vehicle and then you pay them back. Get your home financed and those things, the paperwork, what's legit, what isn't. These are things that is supposed to be taught. This is Fiqh 101. When it comes to any type of business, halal businesses, doing business with other people, the type of businesses that you should frequent, the type of transactions that's legitimate in accordance to Sharia. Again, what you feel like you know, where did you learn it? Where'd you learn it? Did you learn it in your masjid from a qualified person to teach it? Business and transactions. These categories of mandatory fiqh, where'd you learn them? Did you learn them in your masjid? Did you learn them from a qualified person to teach them? You understand? And this is, so as you listening to me, I want you to grasp the concept of where we headed, and then it's going to boil down to, this is why we in the condition that we in. Because you know what all of this involves? All of it involves deen. How can one be on a deen and they don't even know these things? Now that's a difference, like you've been taught it and you understand it, right? But then you have so much information, you might forget a category or two. And you might have to go relook it up. You know, you might have to refreshing yourself. That's a different thing. But because you have so many Muslims, man, and I'm finna keep it extremely real. You have so many Muslims that's involved in riba. It's ridiculous. Credit cards, right? Card payments, house payments. And see, the reality is this. Sometimes, because we live in the land of the kuffar, and then when you're in areas where you don't have Muslims who follow Islam strictly, where you just got a bunch of loose Muslims, and they doing this, it's normal to you because it's what the kuffar does. So you have these individuals who from amongst the kuffar, they may have some good credit. So they may have a few cars. They may have a home, and then they got a bunch of credit cards. So the clothes and all the stuff that they have, they done use credit cards to get it. And then they slowly pay the credit cards off. The vehicles and stuff that they have, they got high interest loans. So they slowly paying it off. But then they have a home, high interest loans, and they slowly paying it off, right? But all of this is debt. All of this is riba. And Allah wages war against the individual who do that. But my point is, so when they have all this stuff, some people, not everybody, they start to develop this high and mighty, self-sufficient, I am who I am, and nobody's better. Because they have a whole bunch of stuff that has been loaned to them. Even if you use the credit cards, the credit card basically loaned you the money to get it. And then they have to work a bunch of hours. Now they become slaves to their job to pay all this stuff off. And then they sitting there behind closed doors trying to choose between this credit card, the electric bill, the water bill, a little on this, a little on that. But they presenting to the people that they the best thing since sliced bread. You take away those credit cards, you take away them high interest car payments, them loans for them car payments, and in the house, they're going to have to live a regular Islamic life. They're going to be a regular, average Muslim. If they had to go get a car, right, they're going to have a regular vehicle. If they had to get a house, they're going to have a regular home. And Allah is more pleased with this. And I'm pointing this out because These is things that a person should be learning inside your masjid when the category of fiqh, when it comes to business and transactions. When it comes to business and transactions. You have masjids. Well, I've been in masjids and talked to them about why they don't have this and why they don't have that. And they say a masjid isn't for that. The masjid is for you to come pray 5 daily plus Jumu'ah. That's what the masjid is for. The masjid isn't there an institute to educate you. Not knowing the masjid is supposed to be the center of education, because these is individuals who don't know about the way the Rasul and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and their companions, how they got down. The masjid was like a community center for deen. Right? Crimes, third category. Crimes and violations of Sharia. Right? Things that violate Allah's commandments. Okay? A lot of us, we know not to run red lights. We know not to just be out here beating up people and shooting people. But if we are doing it, we know that we're doing what? Committing crimes. But if we got all kinds of credit cards, if we have all type of high interest loans for cars, we don't know that we committing a crime, because we violating the laws of the Sharia. We don't know that. Now somebody say, well, you know, we shouldn't be involved in riba and all this type of stuff. And riba, we don't care. We don't care. Because our ibadah ain't intact for real. Not for the individuals who have a very beautiful, excellent place to go to. But even keeping it Dougie, in some of these masjids that claim to be the best masjids to go to, and the only masjid that you can attend, they don't teach it either. And then playing this game like, oh, we got all these people, we got all these members, look at all these people who took their shahada, but not mentioning that those people came and took their shahada there because they're under the impression that if they took their shahada somewhere else, it wouldn't be valid. So it give y'all a camera moment. Look at all the people here to take their shahada. Yeah, but they think if they don't take their shahada there, their shahada isn't accepted. Look at all the people who came out to pray. Yeah, but all of them think if they pray somewhere else, it's probably a masjid closer to them and better than yours to where they live. They might pass 5-6 masjids that's better than yours to get to where you at. But you're not mentioning the fact is all of them people there because they think they can't go nowhere else. Not because it's a top-notch masjid. They don't know a top-notch masjid. But I won't get into that. I ain't even going to discuss the game that's played. So, what you feel like when it comes to the Islamic crimes, being a mujrimun and violating the laws of Sharia, where'd you learn it at? What you think you know? Did you learn it in your masjid? Did you learn it from a qualified person to teach it to you? Now, to one of the, not the most important, but Some of us don't care about business and transactions, right? Some of us don't care about crimes and violating the laws of Sharia. So, family laws and relationships, which covers marriage, divorce, friendships, how to live in a house with a spouse, how to live in a house with your children, how to have a Muslim home, a Muslim household. If you feel like what you know about having a Muslim marriage governed by the laws that Allah Azza wa Jal set, where'd you learn them? Did you learn them in your masjid? Did you learn them from qualified people? Your local masjid. Did you get married there? Was the wakil, your wali, was they a member of that masjid? Somebody that actually knew you? For the brothers, for somebody that actually knew the sister you was trying to marry or marry? Did they even know her? Did they even know you? Or was it some put together type stuff, like some of the stuff, man, that I be trying to make right and be involved in? You have situations which is not uncommon at all. You might have a brother in Hamtramck, Michigan, suburb of Detroit, basically Detroit, right? Then you got a sister from Minnesota, somewhere in Minnesota. And then the person who's acting as her wakil is in New York. Her wakil ain't never seen her in person. You and her ain't seen each other in person. And now y'all trying to come together as a union. But y'all really don't even know Ibadah 101. Transactions, even if that's a marriage contract. Where'd you learn about a marriage contract? The do's, the don'ts, the permissible, the must-haves. Did you learn it in your masjid? See? And unfortunately, on some levels, somebody dropped the ball. Because although there is some areas where you can go get some of this, but when it comes to the majority, I'm saying in your masjid, but when it comes to the majority, you can't get it. You can't get it. You understand? So, and then the next category is politics, which we're not even going to discuss. Because Islam does have politics. Anybody who think during the days of the companions and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if people wasn't going to different areas and being the governor, if people wasn't going and doing these roles that we consider to be politics, what's the first thing that you taught? the Muslims don't deal with politics. That's the taghut. That's a corrupt system. But you have to live in a system and you don't say anything or don't step up to help dictate the situations on how the Muslims have to live. When it's enough Muslims in this country that can make a difference politically. Why is that? To this day, if you go to Egypt, anywhere where you consider to be a Muslim country, you think they don't have a president? You think they don't have vice presidents? Do you think they don't have mayors and governors, police forces, judges, a judicial system? But you will let some people who somebody need to go upside their head and sit them down and tie them up in a chair in a classroom, running around telling you individuals that Islam has nothing to do with politics. Who failed us? Now we are here just running amok, busy with all the wrong stuff. You understand? So my brother right here, he asked me for where I am, why I don't do the Masjid, right? And I touched on it slightly, but I'm gonna say this right here. The main component is, one, they got to prove me wrong. Because for one, the Muslims is not serious enough about Islam to me. I'm not saying they don't love Allah. And I have to put the word love on it. You know what I'm saying? Because you can love your parents. You can love your grandmother and still be a bad kid. You can love your kids and still be a bad parent. You can love your brothers and love your sisters and still be a bad sibling. But the actual implementation, sitting down, learning ibadah one-on-one, business transactions, no, they love their riba. They love their credit cards. They love the streets. They love their boyfriends and girlfriends. They love running around looking like the kuffar. Male and female. That's number one. Number two, I'm not no young buck, see? And I'm a planner. There's a difference between a planner and a dreamer. One, to establish a masjid, if something happens to me, I don't want the masjid to fold. You understand? If something was to happen to me, where do they go from there? I done sat down and watched, and because some people mystify. They don't accept reality, man. I watched some Wardeen community. Now, I'm not going to speak too much into the politics and the different things because I done talked about that in other videos. But here, okay, I done seen the Muslims on the battlefield. We not dealing with emotions right now. But I done seen some people get a building. Now, we're not going to discuss the day that they got the building because they didn't establish real Islam in it. They had taleems. There was no 5 daily prayers, but they had a building. right? Coming around maybe 90, I can't throw a good year on it, but I'm going to say this. By 96, 97, Jumar and some daily prayers was established. But the fact is this. By the time Jumar and 5 daily prayers was established, they had already lost the Masjid. They just hadn't lost it on paper. They just hadn't lost it on paper. How did they lose it? Because individuals came and started paying for everything. With a plan of, we're going to come get on the board, and then we're going to just keep voting them off. And then once we vote them off, we're going to vote to change the bylaws. And then we're going to take their building. They can't keep it. They couldn't even afford the upkeep or to do the things on the building. We came and got it. So my point is, they didn't even last 10 years strong. They didn't even last 10 years strong. Because by the time when I started coming down here in 2006, they had them in a chokehold. They was really only, a couple of them was just honorary board members. Because they were still ward dean. And that was in 2006. By 2007, in 2007, they was taking a vote to sell the place and move it. But they lost the vote that year to politics. 2008, they purchased the building. Started doing what needed to be done. Then in 2009, they didn't last 10 strong years. Because people had to understand, a masjid isn't a business that makes money. You might can get a little grant, possibly, depending on how things is going, which when you got people like in office like Trump and them, who's starting to do different things to religious organizations, especially Muslims, and some of the things you have to go through to get a grant, like first and foremost, who name gonna be good enough? You got a bunch, not saying that people who have felons and different things can't get grants, but sometimes when it's a religious organization, sometimes it be limited. Your money, and it is going to be highly scrutinized. So like if something happened to me, who going to keep it up? Because right now, it's still a plan to do everything and get everything going where nobody has to put no money up. Because don't nobody want to do nothing. Like I said, it's a brother. People don't even know me and him talk. You understand? People don't even know. They don't even know me and him know each other. And he out here mingling in the community. We've been talking, to keep it 100, we've been talking about 3 months. Yeah. And he get out here, and like I told him, because it was another person who used to have these conversations and this and that. All right, I tell you what. Because, man, you should come do this, you come do that. All right, cool. Just get 6 brothers, man. Get 6 brothers, 6 to 8 brothers that's going to be committed, and I'll come out. Still waiting. This brother. Get you about 6, 8 brothers. Because see, one thing you're gonna have a difficulty in doing is convincing me about some individuals that I've been around for 20 years. and then the X out the 20 years, some of these people I knew as teenagers. You know what I'm saying? So it's not to go into that, but what happens if something happened to me? Who gonna maintain it? Who's gonna go to school? Who's gonna go do what it takes so that people can be educated? As opposed to sitting around going looking up something on the internet and printing, and writing down some things out of an article or picking up some type of book that you ain't read and trying to read it to them. Who gonna bust all this down? Then on top of that, who wanna sit around and listen to it? See, as long as you talking real pretty and fine, where as long as that kuffar version of Islam is perfectly fine, then you kicking the hock. But when you start talking about riba and all this other type of stuff, nah. Like, and I'm telling you, like, so that's the main component. I'm gonna put all the work in, right? Like, and then like I say, with like the brother who I've been talking to for about 3 months. Man, if you need anything, man, I'm gonna help you, man. We could do this. I guess they feel like they hyping me up. And I'm sitting there saying, I'm only asking you to do one simple thing. Go get 6 brothers, man. Bring 6 brothers with you. That's it. Bring 6 brothers with you and let's have a meeting. I'm still waiting. But when we talk, you know what he say? Oh, man. I went to go try to talk to this one, man. He's smelling like weed, man. He's still in the streets. You ain't telling me nothing that I don't already know. Don't even tell him you coming to meet me, because then that's going to be the excuse. I ain't did nothing to nobody. I ain't double-crossed nobody. But the problem is, I say stuff that they don't like. Not intentionally. I'm just talking about real Islam, baby. Just like some people hate to live. The truth is something they can't stomach, man. It's something they can't stomach. And then you want to have this, you want to try to have something, and then you're going to be trying to think you can get all these grants and all this stuff and you're going to be under all this scrutiny with the government, but then you got all these dope dealing Muslims, man, trying to put money in here and put money in there, feeling like they got some type of deal with Allah so that they could be a good drug dealer, and then these people is paying attention to that. You know what I'm saying? Then you could end up tied up in something. But, and like I say, man, I got a whole plan. Like, even like this right here, like these just sitting on my thing randomly. These right here is different watermelons. Like, I've been doing a garden. Like, tomorrow, inshallah, this weekend, I'm going to actually eat from my own garden. Stuff that's growing quickly, man. And I'm getting me another area together and planting some stuff right. I'm going to plant these watermelons. But this stuff really for the community. This stuff for me to give away, for us to eat off of. Like I said, I'm really considering just giving them this whole thing right here. And then I'll pay for it. And then y'all come up with what y'all want to do in it. Just to see, can they put their heads together long enough to screw in a light bulb? And I'm not saying that to be insulting. who gonna put the work in, man? All that talking, man. You know, I grew up around that, man. All that talking. And see, my problem is this, and then I'm gonna move forward. See, when coming up in the environment that I came up in, this isn't looking down on anybody. This is me reflecting and understanding my life. Everybody that I grew up with, they either dead, been shot, or done did a gang of prison time for stupid stuff. For stupid stuff. Now I'm not knocking them, and then it's only one person that I know that didn't get shot, ain't killed nobody, and didn't go to prison, but he a dope fiend. He didn't escape the drugs. And to do any drug you put in front of him. Crystal meth, done did all type of stuff, man. I love him. And I feel bad for him. Now, me pointing that out is because I was always the voice of reason. That person who, you know what I'm saying, all of them in and out of jail. See, I was always the ones they looked at like, you know, man, you need to get out here and do. No, I'm not moving like that. I was always trying to talk them off the ledge or trying to put them up on game. But then they didn't want to listen. The truth hurt them. But then when they was in prison, they thought about what I said to them. When they was in that hospital bed shot, they thought about what I said to them. So me mentioning that, I'm the same way right now with the Muslims. Man, OT, you can't be dealing like that, man. You can't be concerning yourself with this. These people gonna do this, they gonna do that. That's just who they are. They can't handle the truth, man. Oh man, you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't be acting like that. I told them the exact same thing. But then when reality set in, they got to sit back and say, man, the brother is right. But now so much enmity done set into their heart for feeling the wrong way about the right stuff instead of feeling the right way about the wrong stuff, which is what they used to, see. We not getting nowhere. And then people feel like I don't care enough. I'm not fighting hard enough for what they want because I'm cool. Tomorrow, and I'm not saying this from a bragging standpoint because I'm still just a regular person. I'm sitting with a sheikh tomorrow. My classes and stuff finna start soon. And me being analytical, I looked at the student enrollment in one class, and I make sure I got a picture of our student enrollment, right? And it show everybody name, everybody got a profile set up right. In one class, 127 students. It's still a little bit more time for registration, but I looked today, 127 students in one class. The second class, 107 students. Why did I take that? Because I got a feeling by the time we get to the end, it might be like 20 students. It might be like 20 students left. You know what I'm saying? And then where we can see everybody name profiles, a lot of the companions and a lot of the people that I chop it up with for real, I met them in class. In different classes. And it be like that all the time. You know what I'm saying? I done been in classes, man. And I'm talking about they be international. Right now it's international, man. People from everywhere. All right? The UK, all over. Right? So I want to see how it turn out. I have yet to enroll in a class that everybody who signed up for it finished. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. Or they flunked out. Some people tried, but they flunked out. You know what I'm saying? And it be breaking my heart, man, because I'm that one that, always be the one that try to say, look, man, don't go that way, don't do that, this, and this. And then you listen to everybody argument, people grown, they be adults, all right, cool. But then we had to look at the end results. So, I'm just saying all that to say, I'm torn. I think it's more inside of me that don't want to do it. Because I don't believe in it, man. I don't believe in it, man. Because I see all of the... Man, nobody want to do nothing, man. Don't nobody want to do nothing, man, but talk. You know what I'm saying? So, just think about that. These basic things of fiqh, these main components of fiqh, these things that lead to Jannah, where did you learn them, man? Do you have a stronghold on it? We're not talking about some people who sit in and, you may be sitting in like a marriage class and, you know what I'm saying? And because we talking about this, and it'd be different discussions, but like I've been in them, and it be kind of dunya based. That's why, man, I had to give credit to Shadid Muhammad. I didn't watch the whole thing, and I didn't see a lot. I just looked in on it the other day. But the man had a youth marriage camp where he trying to instruct and instill the young people into getting married. The Deen of Islam is based off family. That's why you have to be married. It's based off of families. When you see the things about the hadiths, it's based off marriage and family, man. Some of these marriages, man, they be like Remy and Papoose, man. See, to the world, for some of them people who was into that, Remy and Papoose looked like goals. A strong black power couple. But now that it's over, it wasn't nothing but one big headache. You have Muslims, man, and they be all on social media, hugging and kissing. Might be like Lady and a Tramp. They might have a French fry. He biting one end, she biting his end, and they chewing the French fry till they kiss on social media. But once they get done sharing that one French fry, she in one room, he in another room. She crying herself to sleep, and he sitting up, man, with all type of stress pains and headaches, and chest not feeling right, dealing with anxiety, trying to keep it, almost wanting to go have a beer, a cigarette, and some marijuana, dealing with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's because we don't have this. We don't have it. Where are we being taught it? In reality, man. Where are we being taught it? And it's just a little thing, man. So, and like some of these things, man, that I got like little certain notes and stuff, right? For other things, Daki. You just, as a Muslim, man, you gotta love the truth, man. You gotta love the truth. See, Islam strips you of all that phoniness, man. It strips you of all of that. Just like, like I say, man, for the Muslim sisters, man. See, Islam humble some Muslim sisters because it strips them of all that makeup. It strips them of all that fake hair. Right? It strips them of them fat, dumb lashes. And it strips them of running around wearing revealing clothes. Booty enhancing pants. Breast enhancing shirts. See, it strip them of all that. Real Islam do. When I sit down and I talk to Muslim sisters who can't get no man, they get sit downs, but they can't get no man. And they be frustrated. And I tell them the truth every time, but they don't listen to me. But you know what they think? Guess why they think they can't get no man and why they think they can't keep one? They clothes not revealing enough. I need to show him this body. I need to let him see me with hair all the way down to here. I need my lips to be popping and super duper shiny with some strawberry peach smelling lip gloss. You know what I'm saying? I can't get them because of that, because I don't have none of that. And you know what I tell them? You know what I'm saying? You don't know how to get him. You don't know how to get a man by being who you are. Because once you stripped of all of that stuff that you consider to be attraction, because you done spent a lifetime of dunya getting crawled on. Getting a man to have sex with you doesn't equate getting a man. They catch you catch them at the right time. They ain't gotta like you. They ain't even gotta like how you look. Now you gotta get a man off your personality, off your character, attitude, and personality. But you don't want to fix that. You know why? Because you tell yourself that you the SHIT. I don't need to fix that. Once I take these clothes off, then it done been one. Yeah, and I'm not trying to bash the sisters, but real Islam strips you of that. Just like some of these brothers who, when it came to getting women, it was based off the cars and clothes that they wore, how much money they showed. Right? The flashiness, the acting like a street guy. I gotta act like the rough and tumble, women like that thug type dude. But real Islam strips you of that. You see what I'm saying? Because these are the things that get a person, like with the female, the stuff that you feel like you need to do, those are things that get the person through the door. But then they be the same thing that make them people leave. With the brother, those are things that get those through the door. But then once the female get up into that world and then be like, yo, you ain't got as much money as I thought you had. you got a couple of fresh outfits, but I'm thinking, I see every time I see you, which I done only done seen you 3 times, you was fresh. So in my head, you got a closet like MTV Cribs. But in reality, you ain't got nothing but 4-5 fresh fits. Now when you got to get you a female, a woman, and you looking like this, and you ain't running around trying to get a woman with Gucci clothes and jewelry and cars and with loud music and all that. When you have to get a female off your character, attitude, and personality, because these sisters be sitting around in a sit down like, what is it that you can do for me? I got degrees. I'm a traveling nurse. You know what I'm saying? I'm high and mighty. I'm your prize. Brother, you don't look like money. Tell me about your money. How much vacations we gonna do? I'm tired of traveling as a nurse. I want to stay home and scroll social media. But man, sister, what about my character, attitude, and personality? Don't nobody care about that. You said you wanted a brother that could teach you some deen. You said you wanted a brother that can guide you, a protector. That's what I'm supposed to say. I just can't sit down and say, can you pay my bills, sir? How much my bills you can pay, and how much out to eat we gonna do, and vacations to the Bahamas. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, and that's why some of the brothers, man. But we having a very difficult situation, man. We having a very difficult situation, but some of that can be rectified, man, when we really learn ibadah 101. Business and transactions 101. Crimes, violations of Sharia. Because some of the stuff that I'm talking about, we don't know this, but they crimes. But in this dunya, it's the way of life. We don't know they crimes, man. Are masjids failing us? And the masjids that is handling this business, people who can't teach this stuff done dirtied up their names. You know what I'm saying? People who can't teach this stuff done dirtied up the names. You know, it's just unfortunate, man. It's just unfortunate. So like people who do have this, and they do have these masjids, man, wallahi, man, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. If you got some Muslim homies, man, and you could go to their house, man, and y'all can have a study group and sit down and eat some food, man, and you got some sisters, you know, like your wife, and all y'all married, and y'all kids can play together, and the sisters can come together, the way that the Rasul and them and Muslims for generations that do, like they still do in Muslim countries. If you have all that, man, consider it alhamdulillah, man. This is a mercy. This is a mercy. Because as you see right here, most of the Muslims that I know, they unhappy, man. They unhappy. And some of them faking the funk. But a lot of the cause of their unhappiness is the way that they practice Islam. Because sometimes when the exact punishment and how Allah is going to punish you when it's not laid out, they play with the deen. This is my way. I'm doing this. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? What can you do for me? If you ain't got nothing that I can benefit off of you, I don't need you. You're not my friend. You're not my Muslim brother. You're not my Muslim sister. If I can't benefit from you, not like Islam, you got to have something going on that I need you. And if I don't need it at the time, I don't want to talk to you. I'll talk to you when I need you. See, Islamically, these things is crime. See, it's usury, man. And they be so unhappy, man. Miserable. This dunya be a prison for them, man. Because they can't stop chasing it, B. They can't stop chasing it, man. They want the kuffar to be so pleased with them, man. They'll chase the kuffar approval to their grave. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying, man. They be unhappy, and a lot of it be due to them doing things that Allah say He's gonna punish you for. And one of the biggest punishments from Allah Azza wa Jal in this life is you don't get a proper understanding of this deen. Yeah. Because what does the deen teach us? When Allah truly wants good for a person, when Allah loves a person, He gives them an understanding of this deen. Your life and the things that you chasing, it don't even remotely resemble the people that goes to Jannah. You couldn't understand the deen on a Jannah type of level if somebody put it in a bag and smacked you in the face with it. Because your life is dunya one-on-one. Allah say don't do this, I'm going to do it anyway. Because it seemed trivial. And then we'll say stuff like, well, I don't drink. Well, I don't smoke. I don't drink, I don't smoke. But these other sins is just as major. You a Muslim. We ain't gonna get into that. But all I'm saying is, man, we got to be careful, man. And right here, I'm glad I looked at that. In one of my videos, when I was talking about taqwa and saying rely on instead of trust this and that, I meant tawakkul. I made a mistake in that video. You know what I'm saying? I always make mistakes, but I definitely wanted to clear that one up. I was meaning to say tawakkul, right? But right here, this is something I want to speak on, man. I'm going to get to this later. Why fiqh change? I'm going to keep that up there. And context becomes important. I'm starting to see strong students, graduates, man. Medina, Mecca, had videos while they was in school. Real beautiful classes. But nobody watched them. You know, people may warned against them. They have a video, 300, they might get 300 views. You know, they might have 2,000 subscribers. You know, every once in a while they might have a video that might touch 1,000 or 700 or 800. But they generally averaging 100 views, 50 views, 200 views, depending on how they worded the subject of the video, right? And then they had a frustration with it. So now they starting to do videos like, and this is what I'm saying, because I'm not gonna speak to nobody's intentions, but just looking at it and then hearing some of them or having discussions with some, right? They chasing content. They want to make money off YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, right? And Dawah wasn't getting it. So now they starting to make videos like learning this one Quran ayat will make you a millionaire. 15,000 views. But if they would have worded tafsirs of this Quran ayat, they probably would have got 30 views, 50 views. Because you have a whole large group of Muslims that don't even believe tafsirs is real. Then you have another large group who may know how to talk about tafsirs Ibn Kathir, but it seemed cool, but they haven't really been taught to pick it up and look at it. Just having tafsirs Ibn Kathir is a flex. Having Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, it's a flex. So they're not interested in the video tafsirs of this Quran ayat. But then when they put learning this one Quran ayat, how you can become a millionaire. 20,000 views. How to make money during Hijrah. How to make Hijrah and grow rich. 50,000 views. So now their channels is becoming about content. And now that they getting some YouTube checks and then they already overseas, 1 month they in Jordan doing food reviews. Look, the jerk chicken restaurant in Jordan. 20,000 views. This is ways you can make money when you in Jordan. You can work remote and this, that in Jordan. Then they leave Jordan and go to New Cairo, Egypt. Walk around the grocery store. Right here you have American Doritos. And these is the Cairo Doritos. This is the price. This is what you'll spend if you live here. 60,000 views. Because now people dreaming about Hijrah. Mentally, now Hijrah is becoming a dream. But physically, they don't want to do what it takes to get there. But then not knowing once they get over there, the realities that are going to sit in. Because individuals is selling them a dream for content. They don't put the Dawah down because it didn't pay. Now it's money over Dawah. I'm not talking about nobody's intentions, but I'm telling you, I'm watching it. I'm watching it. How to make Hijrah and become a Muslim millionaire. And I know people in Hijrah, and I'm telling y'all, man, the majority, matter of fact, I ain't even gonna candy coat it. The Muslims I know that done made Hijrah, they hustling Americans, man. Just to survive during Hijrah. I'm gonna tell the truth, man. Like some places like in America, they have thrift stores, Salvation Army, right? Some of them might get little jobs cleaning people, like if they move in and they want their apartment because they be furnished, but to come throw away all their little stuff, little side hustles like that. Man, people be going over there to the thrift stores and stuff, buying stoves, and because sometimes people, they get to want to clean up their ding. So they might look in their closet and be like, man, I got too much clothes I don't wear. My wife did all this shopping and don't wear none of this stuff. So some of it be pretty fairly new. So they gather all that stuff up and the kids' clothes, all this wasteful stuff, because now, Ramadan might be coming or something where they want to get themselves together. And then they'll go take that stuff to like a thrift store and donate it, or a Salvation Army or something. And then, or, have somebody, they know some Muslims, they come clean it. You come pick all this stuff up, you can have it, free throws, this and that. Man, they'll go get that stuff, man, and wash it and this and that. And be all on Facebook advertising it and all that type of stuff. Or have somebody in America, I'm gonna ship you a whole box of fresh stoves. You can't get these, and buyers. And then you go to the Masjid, you sell them, and then you just send me this. But it be used clothes, all type of stuff. And I ain't knocking it, but the thing is, I guess it's because the way I am. You getting something for free, or you buying it for $1 or $2, and then you selling it like it's brand new, straight off the shelf. And then because you Muslim, people willing to spend the money with you to support you. But you know what I'm saying? But they could go to 52nd Street in Philly and get the same throw for $20 new. Get a tailor-made one for $50. But to support you, they're gonna give you $60 for a used stove that they think new. And the buyers and all that type of stuff, man. Little stuff like setting up Arabic classes, and they really just teaching people alif bata. Some they could teach you in a week, but they drag it on like 3 months, charge you about $80, $90, $100 a month. And when you get done, alif bata and how to connect it. And they just drag it out for 3 months and stuff like that, man. I ain't knocking it, man. People got to do what they got to do. But my whole point is, man, they go over there and make hijrah like it's a fleck. And then they get over there and get to struggling and start hustling Muslims, man. Just to stay there. And then some fair, some not hustling Muslims, some have some real Arabic class, but it'll present it as an Arabic class, and people think once they sign up for it, they finna learn how to talk and all type of stuff and this and that. You learn alif bata, how to connect, how to connect it and read it, man. Something you could learn in a week. But you know what I'm saying? But they making these videos, man, selling people hijrah. Playing into the emotions, man, so that they can live, so that they can live over there. Because it playing to the emotions of the Muslims, man, and they be, even getting to the point where they doing consolations. $75 American for 1 hour. They'll consult you for 1 hour for $75 American on how to come live in Egypt. That's $75 an hour, baby. $50 for a half hour. Let's set up a constellation, and I'll tell you how to live in Egypt. I'm gonna talk to you for a whole hour on how to live in Kuwait. All while I'm getting 16,000 views in 8 hours, in 10 hours. You know what I'm saying? And then it just like when a thing start happening, it's like, oh, why am I putting this belt on me? Why you think? Why you think? You know what I'm saying? Do square business, man. Do square business, man. People, man, and you know what I'm saying? Like I say, man, I listen to people, man. I watch the stories. People do a consolation, and people be done had them come over there, man, and they be like, man, we're gonna set you up, man. You get this apartment, I got this. Go show this apartment, like I get these, I rent these, this and that. But they really just be over there, just like where I'm at, right? And I can look at a newspaper or see an apartment or a house for rent, tell them I want to see it, and then they open up the door so I can see it, and I put it on videos and record it, and then act like this is a place that I could get for you. And then some people actually have some money, and then they show up over there for you to pick them up at the airport, and then nobody ever show up. Muslims, whole niqabis and everything, man. But like I said, and now I'm starting to see students, because the dawah wasn't making them no money, man. You know, I ain't speaking to the intensity in their heart, but I seen once they started getting 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 views, all the dawah videos stopped. You know what I'm saying? Now they might be, you know, in Mecca trying a camel burger. Look, y'all, let's do a few review on camel burgers and fries in Saudi. Be like, man, subhanallah. When you get over here, let me consult you on how to get over here for $75 for a whole hour. And then when you get over here, I could take you to get one of these juicy camel burgers. I'd be like this. Subhanallah azim. Subhanallah azim, man. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's happening to the Muslims, man. But I get it, because people want entertainment, man. The more truthful I am, the more upset people get. The more upset people get. And now that I'm finna start learning a madhab from the beginning to the end, I doubt if I'll be discussing it. It's stuff that I want to discuss, man, because I want people to I want it to inspire people and open their eyes to some reality, you know what I'm saying? But I probably won't do it, man. Because my classes start, right? So like I said, you know, alhamdulillah, Allah blessed me to where I could get all my books for the curriculum early. And alhamdulillah, Allah blessed me, man, and allowed me to completely finish the first book. I finished it Thursday. Right? So that way I done read the book. So then when class start, I could sit down with the book, and as they're going over it and they teaching, I can write certain notes in the book. And then like in the Arabic, it's certain words that I'm able to put the root together and how the sentences go and what it's talking about. And I have a good idea of what the word means and how to use it. But I don't know the actual definition of it. Just like somebody might use the word in English like expeditiously. And we know what they mean and we know how they use it. But if somebody say, what's the exact definition of the word expeditiously, everybody might not know. So sometimes you could be like that with Arabic. And like the way I am, I like to look up the actual definition as opposed to how we use it or what we think it means. Just like when somebody translates something into English and I'm looking at the Arabic and I'm looking at the English, I'll look that word up. Like I know what it means. I know how it's used, like I understand it. But then when I look up the actual definition, it put it in context a little better in what they trying to understand, because you're going to start to learn when the deen context becomes important. Because a lot of stuff, man, a lot of statements be taken out of context and pushed on to the people. So I can sit back and do that and really note it up good and be ahead of the class. Not the class members, but ahead of the class. You see what I'm saying? And then that way I can absorb more of the lecture and some of the key points because I done already read the book, so I know what to look forward to. And like I said, man, I kind of know what it take. And really trying to graduate and get these ijazas, right? And I'm Ahlul Hadith, alright? I'm Ahlul Hadith. So it's a battle within myself because I'm seeing some things that I don't agree with because I know the dalil for it. But I'm learning a madhab from A to Z. And this is what's in the madhab. I know they not perfect. And, you know, I understand why they came from. But I will say this. I understand how it came about. Like I could be learning it from the beginning, and me paying attention. Like, okay, I'm finna quit babbling. I want y'all to feel this. And like right here, where I got why Fiqh changed. Okay, this is what I want people to understand, man. When you look at, see, a lot of us don't know. Some of these books that's presented to us from so many years ago, hundreds of years ago, 1,000 years ago, some of those books was refutations. Alright? So, when you look at these articles and these books that they wrote, it was addressing situations at that time. But when you look at it, it's letting you know these is the issues that they was having at that time. This is the type of community that they was dealing with. So you can start to see how after the Rasul passing away and then the apostate wars breaking out with Abu Bakr and then the wars and stuff that had to go on. And then where it led off, you know, when you know the way that the Khalifa, all the situations that went on with Umar, and then the situations that Uthman went through, and then with Ali and Muawiyah and Aisha, and them fighting and all that stuff. But you can see a breakdown in the deen where everybody wasn't seeking scholarship. And bid'ah started coming about, and a person may be a liked individual, and then they make a statement that was taken out of context. They took a Quran ayat out of context, so now they preaching the Quran is created, the Quran is this, Allah can't do this, Allah can't do this. So these madhabs kind of put things in a perspective for people who not gonna travel too much for one hadith, who not gonna go sit with one scholar, then sit with another scholar to the point where they done sat with 2,000 scholars. See, everybody not going to do that. So these madhabs kind of comb through issues and put them in perspective when it comes to certain things, whether they had the deal for it or not. So I see how they formed up. I'm understanding it. And like certain things I knew, but now that I'm actually stepping foot in that arena, I understand more of it. So I see the pros and the cons. For me, right? One of the pros is you get to be lazy. You understand? You get to be lazy. You ain't got to go find the Quran ayat, look at different tafsirs from more than one book of tafsirs, and to see if they differed, to see if it was the Rasul saying or if it was the opinion of companions. How much did they differ? Who thought this? What this Imam said? Or how this scholar from the past explained it? How this contemporary scholar explained it? Then, boom, go look at all the hadiths, and you might have, the tafsirs may have referenced 2 hadiths, so then you go look at the hadith and find out there's 20 hadiths on the subject. So now you're reading all 20 hadiths in Bukhari, then you say, okay, cool. Now I'm finna go to Muslim, and then Muslim might have 7 hadiths that Bukhari didn't record. So now you looking at these 7 hadiths, then you go to Sunan Nasa'i. Then Nasa'i might not have the hadiths from Rasulullah, but he may have the athar from the companions on how they understood it. And then you go through and look at all that alhamdulillah, and you put it all together. Then you get your case, you get your yaqeen on it. Then you go to one of the scholars. Why go through all that? And you could just say, Imam Shafi'i said, da 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 da. Imam Hanifa said, da 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 da. So that's one of the pros. You can be lazy. And that's why I understand, some of these areas, how they push. See, pushing, this is my madhab. Not all cases. Follow me. This is the madhab, or we're on the minhaj of this, but they ain't really did the work. It's a way to put cloak over their ignorance. and then they can tell you something without the context. The context not important, so you don't know what's to it. So it's a pro, but it's also a con. I could be lazy, but the con is it's gonna make me lazy. I'm Ahlu Hadith. Because even right now, I'm seeing some of the stuff that's in there, and I'm sitting up saying, man, I need the dalil for this. Imam Malik, Imam Shafi, Imam Hanifa, Imam Hanbal said this, that. But like I said, I read ahead. So I don't know if once we start to get into the class and interact, and then they're going to point out the dalil, that's why I want to be ahead. So if they point out certain things and they have a dalil for it, or me being the way I am, I'm going to be like this, like a little kid. Excuse me, Ustad. What did they use as dalil for this? Because I've seen dalil that's contrary to this, but I came in knowing that the madhabs aren't perfect. Can you point me to the dalil for this? And then if he can't, just say, this, that, and the third, I'm going to search for it. And if I don't find it, I'm going to stick with the dalil that I already know and have. And then, and keep in mind, I understand dalil is Quran, Sunnah, Ijma'. All that got to line up. Quran, Sunnah, Ijma'. Qala Allah, Qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and athar of the companions. So, like I said, I'm already seeing some things, and then there's some things I'm sitting back like, where they come up with this? And I will be honest, I've seen some things I never seen before, and they didn't have no dalil. But the way it is, and in the Arabic, they say you could tell when they're referring to a hadith, but it don't reference it. And then I went and found the hadiths, and I was like, whoa, this is nice. This is nice. But I can't credit it to say this is part of the madhab. It's part of the sunnah. It's from a hadith. You can't credit an imam for something that Rasulullah said. You just can't. So I seen a couple of diamonds in the rough where I was like, wow. But then, so when I found it, now when I get some spare time, I'm gonna go read that whole section and all the hadiths, and then go to the next books, because I found the hadith in Sunan Abu Dawud, right? So I know the context and I know the title that it's in. So now I'm gonna bust out the other books of hadiths and go comb through them and take a look at them and look at the taqreeds and all of that. And for what? Because I'm seeking Jannah, man. I ain't trying to be nobody teacher. I ain't trying to be no imam. I ain't trying to translate no books, right? I'm not trying to make money off YouTube. And wallahi, I'm not knocking anybody who do any of that. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, wallahi, man, it was a brother who, actually my brother, right? My brother came and seen some stuff I had on the whiteboard and seen some of my books spread out and stuff that I was doing, man. And dude was just like, or like with my mom, man, it was just like, why? Why you doing this, man? You're not gonna become. You ain't trying to become no imam of the man. Like, why is you doing all of this, man? That's what my brother asked me. And then like my mom, cause she be knowing I be in class, because when it be overseas, so sometimes I'm in class at 1 a.m., 3 a.m., 5 a.m. And when she be talking to me, and then from her aspect, cause she had degrees and all that, and it just be like, why is you going all to school? Like, you been going to school all these years, this and that. Like, you're never gonna make money off of it. You're not getting no job. You know what I'm saying? You gonna get a job doing that, and then I have to pay. And it be some classes that do be free. I ain't gonna stunt. When there's some free classes and some lessons, I ain't gonna say classes, like some free lectures and stuff, I involve myself in them too. But it's like, why is you doing it, man? And like, even in my head, I just love it, man. Like me in my head, like when I was talking about what I'm gonna do and go look at all that, it's gonna help me with my class, because I already know it's gonna come a time. Because I ain't had a teacher that it ain't happened yet, where I had to jump up and say, hey, look, man, I'm Ahlul Hadith. We gonna have to go back and forth for a few minutes, Sheikh. You know what I'm saying? We gonna have to come to an understanding, kid. Cause this ain't it. This ain't it. You know what I'm saying? And it'd be funny. I'm finna close, man, but I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. What I told the Sheikh. I said, I'm gonna have to go ahead and back out of the classes, man, because life be lifing. And then we both just bust out laughing. I hit him up and was like, man, I got some good news and I got some bad news. What you want to hear first? He said the bad news. I said, man, I got to back out of my classes, man, because, life is just lifing right now. And then we both just bust out laughing, man, because he know that ain't me. You know what I'm saying? But then he paused, man, and said, then that's one thing. Although we joking and being light, I know he gonna give me a jewel. And he said to me, just keep in mind, Shaitan is an open enemy to you. And one of the biggest tricks of the Shaitan is to make you kaslan, to make you lazy upon obtaining knowledge. He didn't say seeking it. He said obtaining knowledge. Because seeking knowledge can fall under a lot of different categories. Because seeking something don't mean you always gonna find it. You understand? So he said to make you lazy on obtaining knowledge. That was powerful to me. You know what I'm saying? And it just, because, like I said, I let him talk me into doing this. Alright? Because I'm Ahlu Hadith. But he done did enough classes, and we know some of these people who gonna fall off. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be Shaitan tricking them, man. It's gonna be Shaitan tricking them. And by him saying Shaitan is an open enemy to me, and he'll make you cast land and obtaining knowledge, it's a broad statement, because Shaitan can make you fall into things that you shouldn't fall into, and having haram and eating haram and dressing haram, to where there's going to be issues with your du'as. There's going to be issues with the position that you are in with Allah Azza wa Jal, and you might not be able to absorb. You see what I'm saying? So you might not absorb the knowledge, or life just start to feel so hectic and overwhelmed because Allah putting that belt on you, that the first thing you're going to do is put down the class. And the class is what's going to help you get out of those situations. Like, let's say your goal is to become a mechanic. And once you become a mechanic, everything is going to be all good. You can start your own business. You can get your own garage. Everything is laid out for you. You just have to become a mechanic and really learn how to fix cars. This is your ticket out. But then every time something happens, you put down your mechanic classes. Oh, the teacher made me mad. I'm mad at the teacher. like I done seen some people quit Arabic class. Not with me. Like real Arabic classes, because they thought they was a SHIT and found out. I'm mad at the teacher. The teacher picked on me, and I'll never go to class again. I'll be like this. But you do need that Arabic, right? I'll just do it on my own. I'll figure it out. 5 years later, they still figuring it out. Shaitan to do you one. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Becoming a mechanic is your ticket out. But every time something happens in life, you put down your mechanic classes. Think that ain't Shaitan? And that'd be the first thing. People put down them Islamic classes, baby. It's your ticket to Jannah. That's your ticket to being in good with Allah. But it don't matter to them, because they don't know these things, and they think because they may walk around with some beagle, alhamdulillah, 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 alhamdulillah. I've been saying alhamdulillah all day. I walk out the house, alhamdulillah. I walk down the porch, alhamdulillah. I get in the car, alhamdulillah. I drive around, alhamdulillah. I'm good. You're like, yeah. You sure are. You sure is. But anyway, man, let me get up out of here, man. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.